Hey everyone, how's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in. In today's video, we're going to be taking an in-depth look at the 2020 Nissan Maxima Platinum Reserve. The goal for this video is to give you guys a total point-of-view walkthrough of the entire car, from the engine all the way back to the trunk and everything in between. I'll also take it for a thorough drive and show you many of the unique aspects throughout the interior as well as exterior. And so, without further ado, let's go ahead and hop on in, start her up, and let her run. The Maxima is offered in 5 different trim levels: S, SV, SL, SR, and Platinum, all of which come standard with a smart key entry system and push-button ignition. All you have to do is keep the key fob in your pocket and utilize the little chrome buttons on the driver and passenger side door handles to lock and unlock the vehicle. This example is finished in deep blue pearl, and with that Reserve package, you get an exclusive Rakuta tan semi-aniline leather interior that is just stunning. Diamond quilted details on the seats. There's a bunch of other exclusive appointments as well, which I'll explain a little bit later. Really, really nice. Pricing ranges between $34,250 for the entry-level Maxima S and $41,640 for the Maxima Platinum. The Reserve package is an additional $1,140. Now, this example has a handful of additional optional extras, which of course I'll cover throughout the video. Total MSRP for what you see here, including destination, is right at $45,865. All right, let's climb aboard. One of the exclusive Platinum features is an auto recall system for the steering wheel and the driver's seat. When you turn the car off, the steering wheel moves up and the seat moves back just to help ingress and egress. When you start the car back up again, it returns to its previous memory preset. To start, all you have to do is make sure you have the key fob within the interior, put your foot on the brake, and hit the console button to start. It's kind of hard to see in the daylight, but the starter button also pulsates red. These cars actually sound really good. Traditionally, Nissan always advertised the Maxima as a 4-door sports car. While the Maxima has certainly evolved over the years, and this one's certainly more on the fancy side, you still get that sports car vibe when you climb into the interior. The Maxima SR is the more quote-unquote sporty model, but the designs are all shared between the trim levels. Like I said, you have that pulsating red starter button, which is a really nice touch, but my favorite interior detail is the center stack. It's actually tilted towards the driver about 7 degrees, creating more of a cockpit feel. The steering wheel is fully wrapped in leather. This one, with the Reserve package, has the combination of Rakuta tan semi-aniline leather and black leather. It's got perforations across the tan sections. You have big grip bolsters at 10 and 2, color accent stitching, and all of your multifunction controls in the middle. Radio, driver information system, and whatnot on the left side. On the right side, you have your adaptive cruise, hands-free telephone, and voice commands. The steering wheel is a D-shaped design as well, so flat bottom gives you some more clearance for your legs. It's also power tilting and telescoping. That's an exclusive Platinum feature. All the other models are manually adjustable. To the left side of the steering wheel, from the right, you have your power rear sunshade control, heated steering wheel, safety shield activation, and a power trunk release. The driver's information system encompasses a whole lot of stuff. You have a big digital display in the middle here where you can access audio, navigation, vehicle information, fuel data, driving assistance features, all sorts of stuff, even sport displays. The The instantaneous power readout is quite cool. Before diving into the rest of the interior, let's go ahead and talk about the powertrain. All Maximas are powered by Nissan's VQ35DE 3.5-liter transverse V6. It produces 300 horsepower at 6,400 RPM and 261 pound-feet of torque at 4,400 RPM. The engine is built using aluminum for the block and cylinder heads. There's double overhead camshafts, sequential multi-port fuel injection, and a lofty compression ratio of 10:1. With that compression ratio, similar to the GTR, the VQ35 also has sodium-filled valves, which is pretty cool. The red line is 6,600 RPM. As far as fuel economy, the Maxima is rated between 20 miles per gallon in the city and 30 miles per gallon on the highway. In mixed driving, you can expect about 24 miles per gallon. Premium fuel is recommended for maximum performance. Total tank capacity is 18 gallons. Here's another fun fact. The hood is actually made from aluminum to help reduce a little bit of weight over the front end. Sending power to the front wheels is Nissan's Xtronic Continuously Variable Transmission, otherwise known as a CVT. Unlike a traditional automatic, which has fixed gearing, a CVT, like the name suggests, is able to continuously vary the gear ratios to maximize efficiency and performance. Even though you don't have fixed gear ratios, Nissan actually has programmed some simulated ratios in there, so if you wanted to shift the transmission manually, you could. If I remember correctly, it's like 7 fixed ratios. Like the steering wheel, the shifter is wrapped in leather. You also have that accent tan stitching to match the rest of the interior. When you put the car in reverse, a 360-degree around view camera system appears. This is standard on the Platinum, and now for 2020, it's also standard on the SR, which previously was optional. Towards the rear of the center console, you also have a Sport mode. Now this actually does a handful of things. Sport mode increases throttle response, it increases steering firmness, and it alters the algorithm for the CVT to lean more on the sportier side of things. When you activate Sport mode, you get a confirmation within the driver's information system. It also gives you the option to go ahead and skip over to the Sport displays. So, how does it drive? At the end of the day, the Maxima is a family sedan. It's a bigger car. It's not a full-blown sports car, but it does have elements of sportiness in it. It's kind of a blend of everything, so to speak. So on one hand, you have the big comfortable car, you got all of the features and the soft seats, and it's quiet and all of that good stuff, but you got a pretty nice little suspension setup. So this has a spring strut type independent front suspension and a coil sprung independent rear suspension with beefy front and rear sway bars. It does a really good job at soaking up rougher roads, but on the other hand, it does a pretty good job at also mitigating body roll, keeping things level, and keeping you engaged with what's happening on the road without it being too taut. So, like I was saying, a nice blend between the two. The steering is an electro-hydraulic setup that varies the level of assistance based on your speed of travel. Now, the steering does not have a whole lot of feel to it, but it is very quick to respond. It only takes about 2.6 turns to lock, so when you turn it, it just goes. You don't have to turn it quite as far as some of the other family sedans that I've driven in the past. So again, not a whole lot of feel, comfortable, very smooth steering, but very responsive. As far as performance, 300 horsepower will still get something like this up and going pretty quick. 300 horsepower family sedans are nothing new, but it sure is entertaining. It's not too much power, it's just enough to have some fun. When you're taking off from a standstill, you'll notice that the CVT is going to keep the engine speed as close to level as possible. So what I've noticed is, like, normally accelerating down the road, it'll hover around 2,000 RPM or so, maybe a little bit more depending on how fast you're going. But if you bury the pedal, it'll override that and implement what Nissan calls D-step logic. It actually will wind out and shift, like like it'll act like it's shifting gears, which is just the strangest thing. But I guess that's the only way it's able to do that without like pegging off of the red line the whole time. It's just fascinating. So it's doing all of that stuff in the background while having a G sensor built in to control the algorithm. So it can also tell, you know, your sporty driving characteristics or so. If you're carving through corners and whatnot, it will change the ratios to keep the engine more in its power band when you want it the most. You know, you take a sharp corner, it should be in the ideal range to take off when you hit that apex and, you know, not have a whole lot of lag or have to like downshift a gear or something like that. Again, it's very fascinating. As far as media and entertainment, the Maxima is offered with two different audio systems. The S and SV come standard with an 8-speaker system, while the SL, SR, and Platinum come with an 11-speaker Bose surround sound system. The Bose system has a couple interesting features attached to it as well, including active noise cancellation, which basically operates in the background to help cancel out low-frequency noise and make the interior quieter. It also has active sound enhancement, so when you put the car in sport mode, it'll actually use the audio system to augment the sound of the engine and just increase the overall volume of it throughout the cabin. Every Maxima, except for the base S, comes with this 8-inch infotainment system that features factory-equipped navigation, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and pretty much every media option you can ask for. Now, the Platinum has a little bit more to it on top of that, including Nissan Connect services, which allows you to control various features with your smartphone, like remote start. You also have SOS emergency roadside assistance, stolen vehicle locator, and more. The system is pretty straightforward to use. This is your main menu. All of your primary features are located across the bottom there. You also have some shortcut buttons on either side for some of the things that you might use the most. There's also a camera button right there that'll allow you to bring up the around view monitor and bring up your corner view. Dual zone automatic temperature control is standard across the board, even on the base. You have your main temperature knobs to either side, different zones, fan speed, defrost, all straightforward. In the center console, there's a small cubby that houses an aux input as well as both USB-A and USB-C plugs. The cubby is lined in felt, and it's a pretty decent space to store a smartphone, but depending on the size of your phone, it might get a little tight. I have an iPhone XS Max, and it does fit. It's tight, and it's kind of, you kind of got to finagle it to get back out. So it does work, but again, something to be aware of for larger phones. When it comes to interior storage space, each door panel has pockets towards the bottom that also accommodate 20-ounce water bottles. There's 2 cup holders across the center console, and a bunch of space towards the rear. This cubby is all lined in felt. There's a little tray right there that's not quite big enough to set my phone vertical, but again, it's usable if needed. There's some change pockets here. There's also a button to control the brightness and the color of all of the interior accent lights, which is really neat at night. Not to mention, there's a 12-volt power outlet. The glove box is locking and offers a pretty generous amount of space. The lid is also damped, so it won't come down and crash against your legs. Lined in felt, there's 2 tiers, and it goes back quite a ways, so you can store some pretty large items. Of course, being a larger car, you also have quite a bit of trunk space. 14.5 cubic feet to be specific. The opening is nice and wide. The lift-over height isn't too tall. It can accommodate quite a range of stuff. The opening extends out towards the sides, and it goes back a pretty good ways. A removable cargo net is optional. There's some fold-down cargo tie-downs up top, a first aid kit, and if you need to extend the space all the way to the front, the back seat is a 60-40 split design. Just pull a couple release straps in the trunk and fold them down. The overall quality of the interior is very good. It's quiet, comfortable, and there's a generous use of soft padded material. Depending on which trim level you're looking at, there's a handful of upholstery options. The base S comes with cloth upholstery, and then it basically goes up from there, from leather appointed to premium ascot leather, a combination of leather and Alcantara in the SR, and of course the Platinum with the Reserve package, which receives this exclusive Rakuta Tan semi-aniline leather. It's very, very soft. Regardless of the upholstery though, the seat design does not change. You have Nissan's zero gravity seats with a little bit more bolstering for a sportier effect. The zero gravity design has a special 3-layer foam that offers a lot of support and just fantastic comfort. The seats just coddle you, it's so nice. With the Platinum, both of the front seats are powered. You have 8-way power adjustment with manual thigh extension, 2-way lumbar, and 2-person memory. The middle of the seats are diamond quilted. There's perforations, really, really nice detailing. Both the seatbelts and headrests are adjustable. You also have both heat and ventilation for the front seats by those 2 dials in the center console. Now we'll go ahead and check out the exterior. First, we'll flip on the full LED exterior lighting, as well as the hazards. Both front windows are fully automatic and feature acoustic laminated glass for extra noise insulation. When it comes to styling, the Maxima is pretty much unchanged for 2020 because for 2019, it received a thorough mid-cycle refresh. The outside got a total makeover from new front and rear fascias, side skirts, wheels, just the whole shebang. In some ways, it appears more sporty, like with quad-tipped exhausts out back, but there's also a bit of extra elegance in there, especially with the upper trim levels, like these beautiful full LED headlamps. The Maxima offers a handful of different wheel styles depending on the trim level, either in 18 or 19 inches in diameter. Regardless of the diameter, all of the wheels measure 8 inches wide. I really like these wheels. They're 19 inches and exclusive to the Platinum Reserve. They're wrapped in all-season 245/40 tires. Before I wrap this video up, let's go ahead and cover the rest of the interior. The Maxima is technically classified as a mid-size sedan. It can seat up to 5 people, and for the most part, it's a pretty roomy car. One downside with how it's styled is that because of this sloping roofline, it does limit headspace in the back, especially if you're around 6 feet or so. Just like the front, the rear seats are very comfortable. Lots of padding, lots of support. You have adjustable headrests for the outboard seats and a smaller fixed headrest in the middle. There's a fold-down armrest with cup holders and storage. Like I said, the Reserve package adds heated rear seats. The door panels are also padded across the middle and upper portions. Let's climb in. Not too much trouble getting your legs in, but with the sloping roofline, you do have to duck your head a little bit if you're on the taller side. I'm 5'10", and with the comfortable seating position for myself in front, I still have, maybe 3 inches or so of leg space. As far as headspace, again, I'm 5'10", with the moonroof that this car has, which already lowers headroom like just a little bit over a slick top Maxima. I probably have about 1.5 inches or so of extra wiggle space. As far as safety, the interior of the Maxima is protected by 10 airbags. You have your typical dash mounted airbags, the top 2. You also have driver and front passenger knee airbags. You have side curtain airbags for the front and rear, as well as front and rear seat mounted side airbags. Of course, there's a ton of driver assistance technology as well. For 2020, Nissan's Safety Shield 360 technology is standard across all models. Things like blind spot warning, intelligent cruise control, rear cross traffic alert, and forward collision warning. There's a bunch of optional features too, like lane departure warning, lane departure innervation, automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection, and more. A ton of stuff. Well everyone, that is going to wrap it up for this video. I hope y'all enjoyed the in-depth look at the 2020 Nissan Maxima Platinum Reserve. Be sure to stay tuned next time, subscribe today if you haven't already, check that notification bell as well, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like below. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.